Right now, over 1 billion people are deficient in a single nutrient. Most of them don't know it. They just feel tired. Their mood is lower than it used to be. They get sick more often. Their body feels off, but they can't explain why. And they blame stress, or sleep, or just life. But what if your body has been sending you a very specific signal, and you just don't know how to read it? Because this isn't a rare deficiency. It isn't obscure. It's vitamin D. And the reason so many people are running low on it is not what most people think. First, understand what vitamin D actually is, because calling it a vitamin is misleading. Vitamin D functions more like a hormone than a vitamin. Your body produces it when sunlight hits your skin. It is then converted by your liver and activated by your kidneys before being used by nearly every cell in your body. Vitamin D has receptors in over 200 different types of human tissue. That means it is involved in over 200 biological processes: bone strength, immune function, muscle performance, mood regulation, heart health, hormone production, including testosterone, inflammation control, cancer cell regulation. When vitamin D is low, all of those systems are compromised simultaneously. And here is the stat that should concern everyone. A pooled analysis of 7.9 million participants published in Frontiers in Nutrition found that globally, approximately 40% of adults are vitamin D deficient. And in some regions, that number is significantly higher. Here is the part that surprises most people. You can live somewhere sunny. You can spend time outdoors. You can eat a reasonable diet and still be critically deficient, because the modern world has made it almost impossible to get enough vitamin D naturally. Reason 1. We spend most of our lives indoors. The average adult spends over 90% of their time inside: offices, cars, homes, gyms. Your skin cannot produce vitamin D through a window. Glass blocks UVB rays, the specific wavelength required for vitamin D synthesis. You can sit by a sunny window all day and produce zero vitamin D. Reason 2. Sunscreen. SPF 30 sunscreen reduces vitamin D production by approximately 95%. We have been told for decades to protect our skin from the sun, and while sun protection is important, the widespread daily use of high SPF sunscreen has contributed significantly to the global deficiency crisis. Reason 3. Skin tone. Melanin, the pigment that gives skin its color, also absorbs UVB radiation. People with darker skin tones require significantly more sun exposure to produce the same amount of vitamin D as someone with lighter skin. Research published in the NIH confirms that darker-skinned individuals are at substantially higher risk of vitamin D deficiency, regardless of where they live. Reason 4. Age. As you get older, your skin becomes less efficient at converting sunlight to vitamin D. A 70-year-old produces roughly 4 times less vitamin D from the same sun exposure as a 20-year-old. And reason 5. Food simply cannot fill the gap. Very few foods contain meaningful amounts of vitamin D naturally. Fatty fish like salmon and mackerel, egg yolks, some mushrooms exposed to UV light. That is essentially the list. Most people do not eat these foods in the quantities required to maintain adequate vitamin D levels. And the fortified foods, fortified milk, cereals, contain amounts so small they barely move the needle. So what does vitamin D deficiency actually feel like? The symptoms are so common that most people mistake them for normal life. Persistent fatigue, even after sleeping. Vitamin D plays a direct role in mitochondrial function, the energy factories inside your cells. When it is low, your cells cannot produce energy efficiently. Bone and muscle pain. This is one of the most overlooked signs. Vitamin D is essential for calcium absorption. Without it, your bones become less dense, and the tissue surrounding them becomes inflamed and painful. Getting sick constantly. Vitamin D is one of the most critical regulators of immune function. Research from NIH confirms that deficiency is associated with increased susceptibility to infections, including respiratory illness, low mood, and depression. Multiple studies, including a large nationally representative NHA-NES analysis, found a significant association between vitamin D deficiency and depressive symptoms, particularly loss of interest and low energy. Hair loss. Vitamin D receptors in hair follicles regulate the hair growth cycle. Deficiency disrupts this cycle and is associated with excessive hair shedding. And connecting directly to episode 4, low testosterone. Men with optimal vitamin D levels consistently show higher testosterone than men who are deficient. Vitamin D receptors exist directly in testicular tissue. This is not a coincidence. Beyond the daily symptoms, the long-term risks of chronic vitamin D deficiency are serious. Research published in PMC found that vitamin D deficiency is closely associated with cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, autoimmune disorders, including multiple sclerosis, and increased cancer risk. Studies have shown that levels of vitamin D below 20 nanograms per milliliter are associated with a 30 to 50% increased risk of colon, prostate, and breast cancer. And postmenopausal women who increased vitamin D intake by 1,100 VU daily reduced their relative risk of cancer by 60 to 77%. These are not fringe findings. These are published in peer-reviewed journals and referenced by the National Institutes of Health. The good news is this is one of the most fixable deficiencies there is. Step 1. Get tested. Ask your doctor for a 25-hydroxy vitamin D blood test. This is the only accurate way to know your levels. Optimal levels are generally considered to be between 40 and 60 nanograms per milliliter. Below 20 is deficient. Between 20 and 30 is insufficient. Most people who feel fine are sitting somewhere between 20 and 30, wondering why they feel consistently tired and low. Step 2. Sensible sun exposure. 10 to 30 minutes of midday sun on your arms and legs, without sunscreen, several times a week. Not enough to burn, just enough to produce. Step 3. Eat the right foods. Fatty fish twice a week. Egg yolks daily. UV exposed mushrooms. You can actually create your own by placing mushrooms gill side up in sunlight for 2 hours. Research shows this dramatically increases their vitamin D content. Step 4. Supplement. For most people, food and sun alone will not be enough. Vitamin D3, not D2, is the form your body uses most efficiently. Most research suggests 2,000 to 4,000 IU daily for adults, with some studies supporting higher doses for those with confirmed deficiency. Always take vitamin D3 with vitamin K2. K2 directs the calcium that vitamin D absorbs to your bones where it belongs, rather than your arteries where it does not. And always take it with a meal containing fat. Vitamin D is fat-soluble. It needs fat to be absorbed properly. 1 billion people. Deficient in a nutrient their body produces from sunlight. Tired. Aching. Low. Getting sick too often. and being told it is just stress, or age, or life. Now you know what it might actually be, and you know what to do about it. Here's what I want to know. Have you ever had your vitamin D levels tested? And if so, were you surprised by the number? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if you have not seen our previous episodes, magnesium deficiency, sleep, cholesterol, and testosterone, all of them connect directly to vitamin D. Links are in the description. This video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Always consult your healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet or supplement routine.